Hey everybody, Angela Petrilli here for a brand new episode of the Riff Rundown with the awesome folks at Fishman. Today's episode is pre-taped, but I will be back. Don't worry, it's still going to be a super fun episode. Really happy to be teaching you guys elderly woman behind the counter of a small town. One of my favorite, top three Pearl Jam songs ever. This was on the 1993 album. Versus super great song. Really excited to be showing you guys how to do it today. This one is geared towards my beginners and intermediates. Again, really simple chords here, but really great techniques as far as chord switching and chord voicings and all that stuff. And as you know, we'll be talking about all of that today too. So before I get started here, folks, let me know where you are tuning in from and your favorite Pearl Jam song. So here we go. We're gonna go over the verse, pre-chorus, and the chorus, because those are the three parts of this tune. So here we go. That's the tune we're going to be going over today. Elderly Woman or Small Town. The band refers to this song in a lot of different ways. Funny Jeopardy fun fact for you guys here. For the first Pearl Jam album, if you noticed, all of the names of those songs on that album are one word. And someone said, why don't you guys, title your songs really long? So when they wrote this tune, they made sure that the title was super long. So fun fact, I thought I'd share that. I think it's pretty funny. So one of my favorite ballads of all time. This is such a fun one to play. So again, I am not live today, but those of you who have questions during this lesson, please do write them in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. And once I'm back in town, I'll absolutely love to answer your questions. So don't worry, this is still going to be interactive today. So let's go ahead and get started. So with the verse and the chorus are exactly the same progression, okay? So really, in this case, we're learning two different parts of this song, okay? So the pre-chorus and the verse are going to be different. Chorus is the same as the verse. So let's go here. We're gonna start with our D chord, okay? For my beginners, I'm gonna run through real quickly how to do this. Get your second finger, place that on the second fret of the G string. That is your A note, okay? Your second finger, place that on the F sharp second fret E string. Third finger goes down on the third fret of the B string. B as in boy, that is going to be your D note. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is when we strum this, do your best to strum from that D string downward. Okay, so just like that. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to a C add 9. It looks and sounds like this. My favorite guitar chord to play. Here's how we do this one. So you're gonna go ahead, get your first finger, place that on the second fret of that D string. Okay, that's your E note. You're gonna get your third finger, your second finger, third fret of that A string. That is your C note. You're going to get your third finger, place that on the D note, which is your third fret of that B string. Then go ahead, pinky finger, place that on third fret of the E string, and that is your G note. So it sounds like this. Really beautiful chord. Again, we call it add 9 because we are including that D note here on the third fret of that B string, okay? So just like that. Now, next chord here that we're gonna do is gonna be a G over B. So I want you to think about it like this. You know, that I like to play and teach this version of that G chord, right? With our third finger, or let's go ahead and do this again. First finger, we're live, folks, we're live, one take. First finger, place that on the second fret of the A string, that's your B, okay? Your second finger, that is G, third fret E string, third finger, D note, third fret of the B string, and your pinky finger down on the G note, third fret E string. Now, when we want to call this a G over B, all you're going to do here from this position is lift that middle finger, take it away. Okay, so you're gonna strum from the fifth, so from that A string downward. Okay, and if you wanna make this a G chord again, simply bring back that middle finger. Okay, so the B here is taking precedence as our root over that G chord, okay? So we're gonna go over those chords again. D, C add 9, G over B, and then a regular G chord. So this is something in watching the live version of the song. Stone, I've noticed Stone does do that a lot, where he goes to that G over B, and then he plays the full-on G chord. So something to keep in mind here. So let's go ahead and go through that progression. Again, this is the verse, okay? And also our chorus. So let's go ahead here and play this. I will do this nice and slowly. So here we go. Okay, so now if you notice here, there's something I like to talk about. It's pivot points, okay? Have a look at my third finger, okay? Keep your eye on this. I'm gonna do this progression again. Notice how it did not move. I'll do it again. We want to do our best, and again, my beginners, my intermediates that are watching here today, it's really good to be knowledgeable of where those pivot points are when you are playing chords of a song. It is not only going to make the chords sound more fluid, but it's going to make your transitions between those chords a lot stronger, okay? So let's go ahead and do that again. What I really want you to do here, I'm gonna do a few passes of this. Follow along with me. I'm gonna play this slowly. Do your best to keep that third finger down, okay? So here we go. We're gonna do that progression of those 4 chords a few times here. Back to D. Let's do that 2 more times. Last time. Really keep that in mind. It is a trick that I tell all of my private students as well. Finding those pivot points really, really allows your chord to sound nice and smooth. So take the time. Take the time. It's worth it. It's worth it. Okay? So as far as the time signature, here we are in 6/8. So it's like 3/4 is a waltz, 6/8, right? It's that same sort of waltzy feel. So, and you can even hear it at the top of the song. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. You kind of hear Eddie whisper, which I think is really, really cool. So it gives you a hint of what kind of time signature we are in, okay? So let's go ahead, go through that progression again, talk about this strumming a little bit here. Okay, so down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So if you notice, those chord switches are heavy on, they're right on that 1, okay? So let's go ahead and do that again. I will slowly play that strumming pattern. Here we go again. And I'll change the speed too. I'll start off slow. So here we go, follow along. let's do that a bit faster here. And then what we're gonna do as a bit of a level up, there's a really cool walk up that happens there too. Again, not too tough. So my beginners who are watching, don't worry. This is something you can do too and something to aspire to. You can absolutely do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that strumming pattern a little bit faster here. So follow along. I'm sure you guys are doing great. So here we go. That again. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. All right, so again, really making sure that when we are strumming this, be very consistent. Think about that waltzy kind of time. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. So that's the timing that's happening here, okay? It's not a 4 on the floor type of rock thing. This is a waltz, okay? So think about that when we're doing this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and play this at a little bit more of a leveled up speed, and then we'll go ahead and talk about that walk up. Okay, so here we go. Just like that, really, really pretty chords, very basic chords, but very beautiful ones. So also keep in mind too, notice how that G major chord and that C add 9 look very similar. I like to think of them as cousin chords, right? They're not playing all the same notes, similar ones. Shape is similar too, so keep that in mind too, my beginners particularly as you're learning this, looking at those shapes and going, huh, they look pretty similar, just like, you know, when we're first learning our chords, how E major and A minor have a similar shape. We're seeing that here too. Okay, just keep that in mind. All right, so let's talk about this walk up. This is something I did at the very, very top of this lesson. It looks and sounds like this. See how that brings movement? I'll do it again. Not a great bit. I just love that. I just love that. I think that is so cool. So it's very easy to do. We're gonna first do here is we're gonna look at the notes and then we'll slowly incorporate it within that chord progression. So the notes of that walk up, it's gonna be A, open A string, okay? First finger, place it on that second fret of the A string. That is your B note, B as in boy, half step up to C, okay? Now, when we get to this C note here, you should be already prepared and ready to strum that C add 9. Okay, so if we just highlight that one section, it looks and sounds like this. See how that flows into one another? Okay. Now, when we start this walk up, remember we are playing that G chord. So notice how our hands are generally the right area here, okay, of where this riff is happening. It's right underneath our fingers. We just need to get to it, okay? So we have this, strumming that G chord, open A string, first finger on that B note, third finger, or your second finger playing that C note into your C add 9. Okay, pretty cool, right? So let's go ahead and do this again. From the G chord. To our C add 9. Back to G over B to G. Let's do this a few times. I'll do it without the commentary. Follow along. Here we go, guys. From the G chord. Let's do it a little faster. Here we go again. Let's do it 2 more times. Here we go. Last time. Now, if you'll notice here too, as we got better, right, this walk up here, notice how I was still strumming along. I wasn't just plucking the notes. I was strumming along too. So this is where it takes, again, you know, that alternate picking I talk about a lot with you guys. This is something that's really going to come in handy right here. Watch my hand here as I pluck these notes, yet keep the time as I strum. Notice how the action, that alternate picking, top, bottom of the string. I'll do that again a little slower. See how I'm ready to play those chords again? Let's do that a few more times here. And notice how it still keeps the time, it's still percussive. So as you practice this at home, particularly my beginners, get the notes first, leading into your chords. That starts to feel a lot more comfortable, right? You're continuing to do this, you're not making any mistakes, you're not fumbling. Then go ahead and incorporate keeping time with the strumming, okay? And still hitting those walk-up notes, okay? So wishing you a lot of success on that. I know you can do it. All right, so that is our verse. I'm gonna go ahead and do that verse again. We're gonna get into the pre-chorus. Lucky for us, guys, pre-chorus is really, really easy. It's 3 chords. And one of the chords we already know how to play. We've already done it, all right? So here we go, just a quick rundown again of that verse. I'm gonna do it to speed here. Really beautiful chords here. This is so much fun. Again, want to thank the folks at Fishman for helping me do these riff rundowns. They are so much fun, and they're just awesome folks. So really happy to be working alongside them with these riff rundowns. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Be sure to subscribe, folks, if you're having a good time. Helps the cause. Subscribe to the channel, Angela Petrilli Music. I think the little thing is like, where is it? The little box. It's right there. Click the little box, subscribe. Helps the cause, folks. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the pre-chorus here. So the pre-chorus, we want to do C add 9. We know this already. Yes, okay? Now, if you want to give it a little texture, this is optional. You'll notice that I did it at the top of the lesson here, is lifting up that pinky and playing that E note as well. Really beautiful voicing here too, okay? And remember here too that E is the 3rd of C, so this is still within that chord. Really beautiful voicing here too, so that's something you can do as well. Notice how that sounds, C add 9 with the G, and then I lift it to go ahead and show the E note. Notice how pretty that is. Something to keep in mind too as you are playing this song. So at the top, I will leave this optional up to you. Could you play the C add 9 as we just learned it? Yes. If you want to go ahead and play that open E string, give it a try. Okay, give it a try. So after that, what chord we're going to have next is A major. You guys know how I like to play it, but those new to the show, I'm going to show you again. Get your second finger, place that on the second fret of that D string. That's going to be your E note. Your third finger, place that on the second fret of the G string. That is your A. Your pinky finger is going to be playing C sharp, located on the second fret of the B string. Strum from the A string downward. Ta-da! Your 1, 3, 5 of A major. Okay, so there we go. Now, again, an optional voicing for you guys here too. As you play this A, lift up your pinky finger here. This now becomes an A sus2 because we have that B note open. This is something that I like to do when I am playing this song live. It gives it movement, and I notice that Stone and Ed will do this too. So I'm going to go ahead and give you those chords here. See what I mean with that sus2? It's just great. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is show you the next final chord. It's an E minor. We all know how to play this. So that E minor is going to ring here, okay, at the end of this pre-chorus. So let's go ahead, go through those chords again. I'm going to do just the straight chords without the optional chords. I'm just going to keep it to C add 9 to A major to E minor, okay? So here we go. We're going to do this one more time. To our E minor. And that's our pre-chorus. Okay, let's do that one more time. Go to our chorus, which we have already learned because it is the same as the verse. Now what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to incorporate those optional chords, okay? The C add 9, lifting the pinky finger with the E string, and then playing my A major, lifting the pinky finger, again playing A sus2. Here we go. That again. Okay. Not too bad, folks, right? Pretty fun. Again, really, really beautiful song to play and fairly simple, okay? So wishing you a lot of success on this one. You can totally do it. Now, since we did optional voicings for C add 9 and A into that A sus2, could you do something else with this E minor? You could. If you want to go ahead and put your pinky finger, okay, on that third fret of the B string, that's your D, and make this an E minor 7, because that's your flat 7 here. You could do that too. It's something when I play this song live, I like to add in that little bit too. So let's go ahead and do that here, okay? So we're gonna do the pre-chorus with the optional chords, okay? Now including this E minor 7. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's do that one more time, and then we're going to go ahead and put all the parts together, and we're going to call it a day, folks. So here we go. Top of the pre-chorus, C add 9. Now into our chorus. Pretty cool. So what happens here after we do this? So we have our first verse, right? We have our pre-chorus. Then we have our chorus. After this, we go into a verse 2. We go into a pre-chorus. We go into a verse 3. We go into a chorus that is extended and then faded out. Okay? This is the tune. It is such a fun one to play. Let's go ahead and give it another good review. Again, what were some of the main topics here with this? Our pivot points, particularly in that top verse, right? All the verses and the chorus. Keeping that third finger as our anchor with all of these chords. Notice how it does not move. Okay, so keep this in mind here too. This is a technique that will help you further on in your journey as a guitarist. It's going to make your chords a lot cleaner, right? A lot smoother if we recognize where those points are. And guess what? These pivot points aren't just in these chords. They're in many others, you know. So I encourage you, as you are studying and you are working on your practice and your craft, to go ahead and look at a song that you like to play and see like, oh yeah, there's a pivot point there between these chords. Let me try and keep that finger down as I go ahead and switch between them. Again, really, really cool thing to think about. All right, really cool thing to think about. So let's go ahead, have a look at this again. We're gonna do a verse, pre-chorus, chorus. We're gonna call it a day, folks. So here we go. I'm gonna abridge it a little bit here. Here we go. Our pre-chorus. Into our chorus. So everybody, that is the song Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town by Pearl Jam. Encourage you guys to learn this one. Listen to a lot of the live versions. It's a really, really beautiful tune. Such a fun one to sing along to. And just, yeah, one of the iconic songs of the 90s, I think, and it's such a fun one to play. Such a fun one to play. So again, my name is Angela Petrilli. If you're enjoying these lessons, be sure to subscribe. Thank you to the awesome folks at Fishman for helping me do these riff rundowns. They are a blast. And folks, happy playing, and